As Allah Ta'ala, He mentions, يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. Those who come walking, those who come on their riding animals, and every means of transport from every corner of the earth, recognizing that their Islam is built upon this pillar, recognizing that their Islam is built upon pillars, from them the Hajj. And upon you, O Muslim, for the one who has not yet performed the Hajj, upon you is to be truthful to yourself and to investigate yourself and investigate your circumstances. For after you have fulfilled those basic requirements and those basic needs you have, from the basic needs such as food and drink and shelter, those things that you require to survive with the basic needs and the basic requirements, your food, your drink, your home, the basics. Thereafter, if you have savings beyond this, and savings with which you could perform the Hajj, regardless of the cost of that Hajj, for indeed that will fluctuate depending on the time and place, the time that we live in, and from where a person starts out and has to travel, from where he travels from in order to get to the house of Allah Ta'ala. Upon you is to be truthful to yourself before you say to yourself, after your basic needs are met, after your basic needs and requirements are met, before you start saving for those luxuries which would be nice to have, an upgrade to your vehicle, or maybe an upgrade to where you live, then these matters, ayyul ikhwa, are from the luxury matters. And so long as your basic needs have been fulfilled and you possess that surplus wealth with which you can perform the Hajj, then that is obligatory upon you. From the Sahaba, Umar radiallahu anhu, who would hold that the one who possesses that wealth and can perform the Hajj but refuses to do so, then the jizya is to be taken from him. The jizya, the levy and the tax that is taken by the Muslim ruler in the Muslim lands from the Jews and the Christians. From the scholars, those who said that this was his takfir. This was his takfir, him declaring the one who has the money to perform the Hajj but doesn't go. That was his declaration. Umar, Khalifa Thani, the second Khalifa in Islam, that he held this person to be a kafir and to have exited Islam because he has lost that pillar. That pillar is not there with him. Naam. So upon you is to be truthful, ayyul ikhwa, to look into your affairs before the next Hajj, if you're still alive. If Allah grants you life, then upon you is to be truthful to yourself. Muslimun, ayyul ikhwa, they prepare themselves to make that Hajj and perform that obligation upon them to the house of Allah Ta'ala. From them, those who have already entered the haram, from them, those who make their way, and from them, those who are yet to get there. For the days of Hajj, although you hear often the 10 days of Hajj, beginning from the first of the Hijjah, the days of Hajj, the days themselves, the days in which the Hujjaj, the pilgrims, they begin their manasik, their rituals, and that begins from the 8th of the Hijjah, wherein the Hujjaj, they enter into the state of Ihram, and they enter by way of their niyat, their intentions, they enter into the state of Ihram as pilgrims to perform the Hajj. From them, those who began or will begin their Hajj with an Umrah. For there are 3 ways of performing the Hajj. From them is to couple that with an Umrah that precedes the Hajj, or an Umrah that goes along with the Hajj. Naam. Al-Muhim, on the 8th of the Hijjah, the Muslimin, that day is known as Yom At-Tarwiyah, the day in which the Muslimin, or on which the Muslimin, they enter into the state of Ihram and they head towards Mina. They head towards Mina, where the tents are and where you've seen the tents. If you've been there, you've seen them, or you've seen them in the images. That is followed by the 9th day. The 9th day is Yom Arafah. Yom Arafah, the day of Arafah, and the greatest day, or the greatest pillar of the Hajj. Naam. And on that day, the Hujjaj, they leave Mina and they go to Arafah early in the morning. They go to Arafah, that mountain upon which they stand. They turn to Allah, make dua to Him, and they seek tawbah from Him and istighfar. Naam. Until Salat al-Maghrib on that day. Thereafter they head to Muzdalifah. This is still the 9th day. They head to Muzdalifah, where they spend the night and they join their prayer, the Maghrib and Isha together. That is followed by the 10th day, Yawm al-Nahr, Yawm al-Eid, the 10th day, which is the day of Eid. So the 8th corresponds with Monday. The day of Arafah corresponds with Tuesday, the day after. For the Hujjaj, as we mentioned, they ascend the mountain and they remain at Arafah performing those actions. As for other than the Hujjaj, like ourselves, then that which they are highly recommended with is to fast that day. For indeed, the Messenger of Allah, he said, Sawm Yawm Arafah, the fasting of the day of Arafah, yukaffir as-sana allati qablaha, that the fasting of the day of Arafah, that it wipes away the sins of the year that came before and the year that follows. So the fasting of this day for you, O Muslim, expiates the sins of 2 years. An opportunity, my brothers, that cannot be missed for the one who believes in Allah on the last day and hopes for Allah on the last day. That is Yawm Arafah, the 9th. The next day is Yawm al-Nahr, the day of sacrifice, wherein the Hujjaj, they sacrifice their animals. Yawm al-Eid. Likewise, they carry out, this is Yawm al-Hajj al-Akbar, as Allah Ta'ala refers it as in the Quran. Yawm al-Hajj al-Akbar. For most of the manasik and the rituals are performed on that day. From the slaughtering of the animals and the shaving and cutting of the hair for the men. Shaving for the men or cutting, and for the women, cutting their hair as well, trimming their hair. Likewise, from that is the slaughtering of the animals on that day. That is why it is referred to as Yawm al-Nahr, the day of sacrifice, or Eid al-Adha, the Udhiyah, Naam, those animals that are slaughtered and sacrificed for Allah's sake. كذلك أيها الإخوة, on that day, they perform the stoning of the pillar, the Jamra al-Aqaba al-Kubra, the largest of the stoning pillars. They go and they stone the pillar. And likewise, Tawaf al-Ifada, they head back to Masjid al-Haram, and they perform the Tawaf and the Sa'i, between Safa wal Marwa, between Safa, the two hills, Safa and Marwa. Thereafter, the days that follow, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th, the Ayyam of Tashriq, the days upon which the Hujjaj, they go to Mina. They go back to the tents at Mina and they remain there for those days. And after the Zawal, around noon, every day they go to the Jamarat. All three of them, Al-Sughra, Al-Wusta, and Al-Kubra. All three of the stoning pillars, they go and they stone them every day for 3 days. 2 days for the one who needs to return back to his land, and three days optional for the one who is in no rush. Those are days of Eid for all of the Muslimin. That is what the Hujjaj, they do when they're there. As for those who are not performing the Hajj, then they are Ayyam al-Akl wa-Shurb and Dhikr. They are days of eating and drinking and making dhikr of Allah Ta'ala. Days of Eid. So altogether, 4 days of Eid, including the day of Eid. We ask Allah Ta'ala that He accepts from the Hajj, from the Hujjaj, that He accepts from them their Hajj, and He makes it a Hajj that is mabrur for them. And we ask Him that He accepts from all of the Muslimin, and that He accepts their dua, that He forgives them and accepts their tawbah.